Perfect. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sam Spire. I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement for the Lindner College of Business, and excited to be here today for BEARCATS Innovate, presented by the UC Alumni Association and the Lindner College of Business. Really excited to dive into this conversation today around generative AI, how our students at UC here are using it, but also going through some practical tools that you can use it to apply in your own life. So I'm going to go through a couple of housekeeping notes and then we'll kind of get started. So we are recording this session today, just as a heads up. We will be uploading it to YouTube following that so that other people can view this that may not be able to make it today. Please make sure that you are on mute during this call. We do not want any feedback while Jeff is presenting. However, we will have time at the end for questions. So during the presentation, if you have any questions that come up that you don't want to forget, feel free to put those in the chat, but we will have time at the end for some Q&A. And then as a follow-up too, there's going to be a lot of information covered in today's session, but I want to let you know that we will follow up by Friday with a list of all the tools and things that we go over today. With that, I'm excited to welcome Jeff Shaffer. He's our director of the Applied AI Lab here at UC. I want to thank Jeff for taking the time today to do this, but I'm going to let Jeff introduce himself and kind of take it away from here. So Jeff, off to you.
Great. I'm going to turn the waiting room back over to you, and hopefully you can see my screen here. I'm going to do a little presentation that I call AI's Got Talent. I'm going to start here quick with just a little music. This is AI generated music. So I thought we would kick off with a little bit of that.
5'5", bright blue hair and big brown eyes, sleep beneath the neon signs of some old 2 Street town tonight. We don't need to talk things through, or you can cry the whole way too. Whatever feels alright to you, 'cause you got baggage, I got room, babies. Singing Carolina, oh, it's a long and winding.
So that was an AI generated song. We have a title here, AI's Got Talent. I actually used generative AI to help me create the title of this, after America's Got Talent. Of course, there's no image of AI on a game show like America's Got Talent, so AI generated that image for me. And then there's no logo, of course, for AI GPT, which I thought was pretty good for, it's very similar to something in the style of America's Got Talent, but AI GPT. So I think you'll get a sense that there's going to be a lot of talk about AI tools in here, specifically generative AI tools. You will have copies of all these slides. I will post them later today. Sam will send them out as well with a link, so you'll have all of that stuff. But if you'd like, you can QR code this, and it'll take you to our AI at UC and get some more information. My name is Jeff Shaffer. I am the Perry Professor of Analytics and the Director of AI Strategy at the Lindner College of Business here at the University of Cincinnati. I am also an author that I'll talk about in a little bit, and I do have a podcast, but all my contact information will be available to you. A lot of the alumni have reached out to me after sessions like this. Feel free to do that. And we'll talk about how we might be able to partner together and things that you're doing with related AI. And if you didn't see the tie swap, there you go. That's my real picture with the yellow tie. But of course, with generative AI and UC colors, we might prefer a red tie. So I swapped it out, just to show you we could do that. I told you that I'm an author, and I wrote 2 books just this past fall. I have a new release called Dashboards That Deliver. I do a lot of work in data science, data analytics, data visualization, and AI. The original book over on the left is from 2017, The Big Book of Dashboards, and it's done very, very well on Amazon. I check periodically. It still sells well, and it was a bestseller in the category of enterprise application. However, what you'll see here is that, well, look who beat me. I was beat by, I was beat by AI engineering, machine learning, generative AI, even AI for realtors beat. So all of the books that have beat this at this point are talking about AI, specifically Gen AI. It's the hot topic of late. You've probably heard of ChatGPT. This would have been the fall of 2022. ChatGPT put a shiny interface on their tool. They were already out in the marketplace, by the way. I used to work at a fintech. We actually used OpenAI for about a year prior to this. But what they did was they put a chat interface on it and opened it up to the public. And that took the world by storm. People started to figure out all the different things you could do with this, and their models started getting better. They had 1 million users in 5 days, the fastest website to reach 1 million users in 5 days. And in 2 months, 100 million users, the fastest website to 100 million users. It took folks like Facebook and others months and months and years to do that. And so the fastest ever. Today, this is the number 14,000 of jobs on Indeed. Indeed, if you're not familiar, is a big job website where they post jobs these days. Number one job site. This is the number of jobs on Indeed that mention the word generative AI. That is growing and growing. The percentage of those, it was, a 0.5%, 1%, 2%. I think we're growing. But 5 years ago, the term generative AI didn't exist. And so today, now it's in job descriptions. And it's not generative AI jobs, it's marketing with generative AI in the job description. And so generative AI is now in everything. The number one research topic, I should update this slide. We're up to 1 million, actually. In 2025, we've hit 1 million publications. So it doubled again between 2023 and 2025. Huge increase. We're now at a 10x increase in 7 years. It's just blowing away. December of 2022, I think this was, the New York Times issued a code red right after ChatGPT came out with that chatbot. They said it was going to fundamentally change the way that search was being done. And they were right. You fast forward to a few years later, and all of the search engines have changed. I'm going to show you a tool today called Perplexity. But as a result of tools like Perplexity, Google, Bing, all the other search functions have all caught up to Perplexity and are doing the same thing. If anybody remembers back in the day, you used to look at Google and you'd get, sponsored, 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 sponsored. Now Google kicks off with an AI overview at the top and sums it all up for you and really tries to lead in with the AI. Microsoft does it with Bing as well. So about a year ago, a year and a half ago, we formed the Applied AI Lab here at the Lindner College of Business. And this is how we really work to get AI into our faculty and staff training, our student curriculum, and we partner with external companies. So on the left half of the screen, I am responsible for all of the AI training for our faculty and staff here at Lindner. Have 100 faculty and staff this afternoon, right after this session from 2 to 4 o'clock. I have more than 100 of them joining me online, and we're going to do training on generative AI, diving a little deeper than I'm going to do today with you. We work on getting AI into the student curriculum. You are hiring our students, or you might have, your kids maybe even go here. We're getting AI into the curriculum here at the Lindner College of Business. At the top, we have degrees. We just started a master's in AI management that'll be launched in the fall of this year. It's already approved and on our website. You can already sign up for the program. So that launches in the fall. About a year ago, we launched a graduate certificate in AI, and so we also have that. You can get your MBA with a graduate certificate in AI, or you could get your degree in marketing or finance and get a certificate, a graduate certificate in AI, kind of like a concentration. In addition to that, we put AI in the actual curriculum. So we're trying to get AI embedded into courses that already exist. For example, marketing or finance or any operations class, things like that. We're trying to get Gen AI and AI tools into those classrooms. On the right side, we work externally with business partners. We do that through the Center for Business Analytics. The Center for Business Analytics has members in the center. It's now the Center for Business Analytics and AI because most of the projects are now turning to AI projects. And we have partners like Procter & Gamble, Great American, Cintas, Fifth Third. They're all members of our center, and we do a number of things. We do training for them. I am doing all of the internal training at Fifth Third on their AI programs. I've trained a few hundred associates of people at Fifth Third on generative AI. So we do that, private trainings. We host public trainings, which kick off starting next week, actually. And then we also do live fire projects down there where you see, incubator. We do semester-long projects, or we embed our students in those programs where you can hire those students. As an example of our training coming up, we do a lot of technical training. I'm doing data visualization right now, but I kick off generative AI next week. We do Power BI and others, but the generative AI in business is our number one private and public workshop right now. Again, everybody's trying to skill up the workforce. So if you have a need for that, let us know. And since we're talking about our students, of course, I always tell people, I'm at UC. I have nothing to sell you. The only thing I have to sell you is my students. So UC founded the co-op in 1906. We had over 1,000 Lindner students out on co-op last year, academic year, and we still rank in the top 5 in the nation on co-ops. This is big for us, and we would love to work with you on that. Again, you'll have these slides. You can connect with us and learn more about how to hire our wonderful co-ops for a semester. So let's dive in. I'm not going to get too technical, but I do want to cover some terms with you as I talk through some of the things around artificial intelligence. This is how we think about AI down all the way through to these things that you hear about, large language models. Artificial intelligence is a very broad term. It's been around for a very long time. It's not new. We've been doing AI forever. I've been working in AI at a previous job. 15 years ago, we were doing things with AI. AI could be very basic. You could think about it as simply trying to mimic human behavior. A machine is trying to mimic human behavior. If I have a knock at the door, that's a human knocking at the door, then I answer the door, a human answers the door. I could try to figure that out, and I could do it in a very simple way. I could write what's called an if statement. If knock at the door, then say hello, right? And I could just bake it. That's rules based. And we just set all the rules, and the machine will do the rules. So that's in a sense artificial intelligence. But something comes along, machine learning, where the system can automatically learn without explicit programming. I don't have to tell it about the knocks at the door. I just feed it a bunch of data about knocks, and over time it can train and figure out, yeah, 95% of the time when somebody knocks at the door, you say hello. So I'm going to say hello. Now, a knock at a door is a very simple thing to do. So that's an easy task. But driving a car autonomously, that's a very difficult task. And so what we discover is for more difficult tasks, we do what's called deep learning. We take these things called neural networks, and we add multiple layers in them. That allows us to solve more complicated problems, whether that's a complicated business problem, whether it's a generative AI application, or whether it's driving a car. When you get to generative AI, that's a relatively newer field in the last decade where we are seeing, maybe a little longer, but we're seeing where the computer is generating human-like content, human-created content, right? That would be indistinguishable from something that a human created. And so that could be writing, that could be other modalities. We call these multimodal models. So we have pictures or videos or music. You heard music to start. You have all these other things. That's generative AI, where you're generating something, and if done really well, you wouldn't even know that it was generated by a computer. A subset of that is large language models. Large language models is one specific type of generative AI model. There's others. There's diffusion models and other different types for video and imaging, and there's many, many more. But large language models is one of the most popular because that's really what ChatGPT is, or Claude. They sit behind there. Now, those, when they originally came out, were simply large language models. But now fast forward to today, ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Claude, any you pick your pick the model, it doesn't matter. They all now are multimodal. Every single one of them will generate images. Every single one of them will edit images. So they have more capabilities beyond large language models today, and a much broader generative AI umbrella. If you didn't like my explanation there, maybe you would appreciate my avatar here. This is me for real explaining it, but you're going to tell really quickly that it's not actually me talking and speaking.
Até você verá a década de 1940, quando as pessoas já falavam sobre esses conceitos, ou até antes. A ideia da inteligência artificial é emular.
I think my video is not streaming up. I don't know. We did test this beforehand and it looked like, but my screen is, with everything going on, it looks like it's lagging. But that is me speaking Portuguese. The same video that I did in English, I was able to translate that into a different language, and it has me speaking that. And I don't speak Portuguese, so it's able to translate. That is an example of what you could do with this. Let's see if some of our other video will work here. Here's a picture of President Biden that I took from LinkedIn. And, if I am now able to do video, well, there's good and bad with these tools. The good is I can translate into any language and take my lecture to Portuguese. The bad is I could also pretend to be President Biden, what we call deep fakes, and pop that into my webcam, and it looks like I'm sitting here at my desk at UC. Same thing with images. I took this shot for fun one day. We were out taking pictures and everybody loved this picture, but of course I'm standing next to a trash can. I said, we can take care of that. No problem. So that's what I mean when I say multimodal: video, sound, images. We're into really any human content that you could create. And if you think about it, coding, for example, is another example. Computer code is just another language. I want to briefly talk something fun. I want to demonstrate data analysis, because that is something that everybody does, right? We analyze data. I'm a data guy, and I've been tracking my trick-or-treaters since 2008, the number of trick-or-treaters at my house. And you might say, Jeff, why are you tracking your trick-or-treaters? I just have you guess, like, how many trick-or-treaters do you think I had last year at my house? And the answer is 738. I had 738 trick-or-treaters. It's a process just to count them. A buddy of mine has a clicker, and he takes notes here. Every 5 minutes he clicks, and he puts the number down, and he reports that data to me. So he's there counting while I'm passing out the candy. I thought I would do something fun with generative AI, which was, hey, could I visualize my trick-or-treaters? By the way, this is a class assignment I do in my data visualization class. I give them this data set and I say, hey, visualize my data. Well, this is ChatGPT. ChatGPT came up with the title, Tales from the Porch, the Halloween Count, counting my trick-or-treaters. It visualized in a bar chart all of my trick-or-treaters. I do not calculate an average in the data set. So ChatGPT calculated an average line and added it to the data set. And then, of course, the image in the back, I could prompt it to do that. And I'll demonstrate that here in a few minutes, what we could do to maybe prompt, and we can create images. So here we are, probably more than you would do in your office. You wouldn't put a image of a cemetery or a spooky Halloween scene or, Scooby-Doo in the background, but while appropriate for Halloween. But this gives you the idea of what you might be able to do in a business context with your data. and you can do it really, really quickly. That's the future of coding, and data analysis has really changed forever as a result of this Gen AI. So I'm going to showcase 3 projects we've done with generative AI that I think are at least innovative in the sense that we solved some problems with Gen AI that we would not have otherwise been able to do with human labor. And they're all kind of related in the methodology in which we solved it, especially the first 2. The third one was a little bit different and had some other aspects to it. But these are all projects that were at UC, and I thought it would be interesting to show you that. So first, I wanted to show you a project where we were working with NIOSH. This was a live student project through our case studies class. And the problem statement was 15,000 research papers that they wanted to organize and do topic analysis. They basically wanted to get 5 keywords from all of the abstracts of all of these papers. Now, you could look at a paper, you could pull up a research paper, a human being, you could type that in, you could decide what you think the 5 topics are. But with large language models, they're very good at summarizing text and finding things like this, like topics, translating them as we learned. So we put AI to the task here. And so what we do is there's an example abstract on the left. This is not related to the NIOSH project. This was a technology paper related to Gen AI, a very famous paper. And you'll see over on the right that what Gen AI was doing is coming up with the 5 keywords about this paper. Very technical: transformer architecture, machine translation, neural networks, encoding, decoding. This was the first paper called Attention is All You Need that's kind of started the Gen AI revolution, if you will. Anyway, you can see based on all those words that it picked up that its 5 keywords were pretty good. Ran 15,000 of them through the machine using OpenAI. ChatGPT, by the way, ran 15,000 through. The cost of that to do that for that project was about $3 because we were paying tokens to ChatGPT. Here's another one. This one's a little bit more complicated, but same sort of process. The data here is private health records, messages from you. If you've ever been to UC Hospital, UC Health, then you are probably in this data set. Then you message your doctor in a secure messaging system. And so hundreds of thousands, I think it was 600,000 or 800,000 messages in the UC system. And what they were trying to do is topic analyze those messages. Was this message about a prescription? Was it a message about pain? Was it a message about billing or scheduling? And so they were trying to do the same thing. Now, the challenge on this one, it's health data, your electronic health record. That's under HIPAA. You have to be very, very secure with this data. In addition to that, UC Health, if you're using their data, can't go out of the UC system. So it has to be in the UC system. So can't send it to ChatGPT. I can't send your health message to your doctor to ChatGPT. So that's an additional constraint to this problem. Well, no problem. We can run an LLM, a large language model, just like ChatGPT. I can run it on my laptop. I could run it on a server in the UC environment. And so that's what we did. We ran hundreds of thousands, 600, 800,000, I can't remember the number. Example on the left, clogged ear with pain, talking about an appointment. Go over to the 5 keywords: ear pain, ear blockage, balance issues, appointment scheduling. The cost of this, just electricity, because you're using a server that's sitting there anyway. We were able to use an open source model on a server in the UC environment. The data never leaves the machine, processes it. It took a couple weeks to process all the records, about 18 days. Project cost nothing, and we had 5 keywords for every message in the system. So if you wanted to now look for, hey, anything related to ear pain, easy to do. You could index that very quickly and do research on it. The Office of Research last year was under some time pressure with an executive order. We had an executive order that needed to identify high-risk programs. The executive order was calling out programs under a certain criteria. You had 1,100 programs roughly, PDF documents again, 6 to 12 pages. It took about, I think, 20 minutes, if I recall, for a human being to maybe look at one of these and compare it to the executive order. So you're looking at 1,100 documents, one at a time, and then you're looking at the same executive order over and over again to try to see, if anything in there is at risk, right? So a little bit different than just 5 keywords, but you can use generative AI to do that. And so that office did something kind of fun here where they created a risk score and a confidence score. And based on that, they could identify programs at risk. By the way, I should also go back, out of your 1,100 programs, very few are at risk. So a human being would have to look through 1,100 to identify 3%, right? Very small signal here. And so Gen AI was able to do that. The cost of that project was somewhere around $7. We were sending, these are all public programs, sending them to a open server like ChatGPT, I mean, like a commercial server. And so, yeah, low cost, able to do this very quickly. And again, you wouldn't be able to throw manpower at this fast enough to read through them, and probably not as accurate. So 3 live examples of things we've done in the last few years. This example is ongoing, and this is an example that I'm working on as we speak. I'm going to get into a live demo. I'm going to do a 20-minute demo here. I'm about a minute behind, but I'm going to kick into a live demo, and I'm going to demo this. This is getting compliant for our for Title II. We have to have all of our course content compliant, meaning that if you have a PowerPoint deck, in your PowerPoint deck you have images. In your images, they're supposed to have alt text for screen readers. That is the biggest piece that causes course content to not be compliant. It's all the professors' PowerPoint presentations. They dropped images in them and they didn't add alt text. Imagine now we have 7,000 faculty who have hundreds of PowerPoint decks, and they all, by the end of April, need to resolve this problem. Here's an example of something auto-generated text that might be in there, which is, hey, a close-up of a book. I'm going to leverage ChatGPT that's going to come back and tell us, hey, that's the big book of dashboards. And so that text is what we're going to insert into the alt text for the image so that a screen reader can pick it up. The goal of this is to then take any image of a PowerPoint deck. You're looking at PowerPoint right now. Make sure that it has alt text on that images. I built a tool using generative AI. So I used generative AI to create this tool. Then the tool is using generative AI to solve the PowerPoint problem. You pick your PowerPoint deck, you load it up, it processes it, and it comes back and saves it. That takes accessibility scores of your PowerPoint decks from my decks anyway, 51%. A lot of the decks are 25 or less. And when you add alt text and you solve the shapes and mark them as decorative, you can get your decks up to 93% or higher. A lot of them come back 100% compliant. So with that, it's time for me to do a demo. I want to leave, I'm not too far behind here. I was trying to extend the demo a little bit. I usually do a 20-minute demo. I'm going to do maybe a 21-minute demo here. Perfect. And I'm going to save time for questions at the end of this. What I'm going to do in this demo is try to demo a whole bunch of different tools. I don't know if we'll have time to do all of these different things, but I'm going to show you a laundry list of tasks. And my theory here is if AI is so good at doing these things, we should be more productive, right? I should be able to get more done. So just to give you an idea of what I'm going to do live for you, I'm going to pull up a Word document, and I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm going to try to accomplish. And you'll see this is a long list of things. To get us started, I'm going to build us a timer. I'm going to really build a 20-minute timer so that I can keep track of what we're doing. So I'm going to copy this prompt. I could prompt it live, but I'm just going to copy this prompt here and I'll read it to you. But I'm going to start using some tools here and kind of show you what we can do. I'm going to start with a tool called Claude. And Claude is, the company's called Anthropic. A prompt. I'm going to say you are an expert web developer. I want you to build a web app timer using HTML and JavaScript that allows me to set a timer, example 20 minutes, have it run down with some sort of visual element. And then because I've done this before and I kind of move out, let me blow this up for you. When I flip outside of the browser, the timer was stopping. So I learned, hey, make sure that it doesn't stop when I change the browser tab or the window tab. Maybe use this date time function to confirm that the timer is actually working. All right. So anybody here a coder or, a web developer? Well, this is for all the people who are not. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to hit enter. And we're going to see Claude's going to start figuring it out. It's going to say, hey, creating the timer, creating a countdown. I'm going to extend this out just so you can kind of see a picture of what's going on behind the scenes. Claude is writing HTML. That is web coding that is going to build a web page. So I'm not writing a line of code. When it's done, by the way, it's going to open up the timer on the right-hand side of the screen, and I can test it and I can try it out. If it doesn't work, or you don't like the color, or you don't like the function, or you want to iterate, you just follow up with another prompt and say, hey, make it red, or add this feature, or add a reset button, or whatever. By the way, look at my prompt. I didn't ask for many features at all. I really just set a timer and let it run. But I bet it'll have a reset button, or it'll have a thing where I can pick the number of minutes. So here it comes. There's my 20-minute timer. I didn't ask for quick buttons, but there's a 5-minute button, a 10-minute button, a 20-minute button, a 30-minute button. I'm going to click 20 minutes. It's got a start, a pause, and a reset. I'm going to hit start, so we're starting the timer down. In fact, I'm going to pause it and reset and say specifically 18 minutes because I used 2 minutes to build this timer. So now we're running at 18 minutes. I'm going to flip to another tab, 1750. And I'm going to come back, 50, 49, 48, right? Should be less than 1750. It is. I'm going to close this window for a second, and then I'm just going to open it back up, and it is still running. So there's our timer. We just built it in about a minute and a half, and it's off and running, seems to be working, and I have 17 and a half minutes. All right, let's go back to, I'm going to leave that running. I'm going to just keep checking back on it. Now I'm going to build a more difficult app. I am going to build an app that is going to look at the Lindner classroom capacity. I have a CSV file for the whole semester that tells me how many students are in the class, how many students can fit in the classroom. So it'll give me the classroom capacity. Is the room at 80% capacity or 90% capacity or so on? And so I'm going to copy that prompt. By the way, if I wasn't talking through this, I could probably move faster, right? So we'll see what we can get done here. I'm going to go to Claude again. I'm going to run another. I really like Claude for building web apps. So I'm going to put this one over here, and I'm going to fire that off. And I also need to give it a sample of the CSV file. So I might have a different file every semester, right? So I want to make it so that I could load up a file. So I'm going to go in here and just find this Lindner capacity CSV. That failed to load. Let's see, wrong file maybe. Let me grab, is it this one? No, that is the file. Why is it not loading there? There it goes. All right, so I loaded up the CSV. That's the sample file. Now I have the prompt. It's going to use that sample file as its data input. So right away, I should have a feature where I can upload a CSV file, right, from my business. It's going to create this dashboard. This may not work on the first time out, so we're going to come back and check on it, okay? Next, I'm going to build a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to use a tool. Maybe this is from my graduate class on Gen AI or something. And I'm going to use a tool for this one called Gamma. So I'm going to go over to a tool called Gamma. You'll see I've done many presentations in here, but I'm going to go up here and create a new presentation. PowerPoint's what I'm going for here. I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation, and my prompt is research best practices and latest tools for agentic workflow with Gen AI and create a presentation for an undergraduate business majors class. Let's make it 12 slides. We can add or take away later. We can change our default to a traditional 16 by 9 PowerPoint presentation. We can format it later. You'll see the classic and other things, but when it's done with our outline, then it'll decide, hey, how do you want to format this thing? Do you want to format it with a lot of text or little text? Do you want animated, like hand-drawn pictures, or do you want Gen AI photorealistic pictures? So here's my outline. It researched this. It's still creating the outline. Down here, I like minimal or concise, but maybe for your class, maybe you want detail, maybe you want extensive notes because you're handing them out as a handout. I'm going to go with concise. I do have a UC template in here, but I'll just pick one of these other templates. So let me take terracotta, or how about, we'll go with petrol over here. And then for AI images, we could go with stock images. We could go with AI images. You can pick the style. Do you want photo, illustrations? I kind of like these line art. I've been using that a lot lately. So I'm going to choose line art because I think that looks good. And there's some advanced things you can do. I'm going to generate it, get that working. I now have an agent who's already done the research on the topic, which, by the way, if I were using this for real, I go in here and adjust it, right? Like, you can give it your own outline, you can adjust the outline, you can change it. But I just want to show you it's building the PowerPoint slide right in front of us. So here's the PowerPoint slide. We'll come back. We should have 12 slides. All right. Going to go over here. I could build another presentation in another tool. This tool's called GenSpark. Just to show you could do it. I mean, why not? So build another presentation. Oh, that's Perplexity. Sorry, I didn't want to do it over there. Got the wrong icon. So here's a tool called GenSpark. It's another AI agent tool. It does presentations. It does many other things, but research best practices on prompt engineering, create a detailed presentation for a graduate class on information systems. Here's what's nice. These tools are going out and searching, right? It's going out and doing the searching for us. Look at all the sources it's gathering on best practices. I could view them. I could choose them. I could say, hey, use these sources and go out and do that. So here we are. We have an excellent, it says excellent. Now we have comprehensive research. Now it's creating the agent for the next step. So it's off and running. I'm going to go back down and use another tool. I want to research a topic and then maybe do something on it. This is one of my favorite AI tools of all. It's free, by the way, from Google, 50 sources and 100 notebooks. The tool is called Notebook LM. So I'm going to go to Notebook LM. I'm going to pick create a new workbook, and I'm going to say research best practices on prompt engineering. That means, how do we write really good prompts for AI? So we're going to do that. We're going to send it off. Do we want fast research or do we want deep research? I only have 12 minutes. I'm going to go with fast research, but I could go deep research on this. Pay attention over on the left-hand side. It's going to start finding sources from all over the internet on best practices for prompt engineering. It has 7 sources in here. There's all the sources, where it came from. Those are websites. There's a PDF document in here. You can look at them. You can include them. You can take them out. You don't have to do anything with it. Over on the right-hand side, now that you have all these sources, you can import them. I'm just going to import them in. So I'm going to load all these into a notebook. I can now chat with all of these sources. So I can ask questions about prompt engineering. I can create all these things over on the right-hand side. I can create an audio overview. I can create a mind map. I could create flashcards or a quiz or a slide deck. Let me give you a couple examples of these for real. Dashboards That Deliver is a 400-page book. I loaded 36 chapters, 35 chapters in the book. Then I have a mind map. I can click on the mind map of that book and say, oh, I want to know more about the 7-phase framework, right? And so I could click on I didn't want to do that. Click on the 7-phase framework. I want to know more about prototyping, or I want to know more about adoption, or I want to know more about enhancement. And I can drill down into any section of the book and see what it looks like. And so that's a mind map. This is all free, 50 sources, 100 notebooks. So have at it. Let me show you another example of what you can do with this. AI at Lindner. There are 3 PDF documents and 2 web pages. Again, you could chat with this. Describe the AI graduate certificate. My spelling is terrible, doesn't need to be good because AI will figure it out here. Scanning the text, it's going to define the goals and tell me, hey, what about this AI certificate? While that's running over here, over on the right-hand side, I've already created a podcast. I've already created a mind map. I've already created a video presentation. So there's the outline of the program with the dates and so on. Let me go to a podcast. You can
Talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
This is
focusing on how
100%
top
generated by
universities are
AI
trying to build,
based on the
well, a
documents I
faster, more
put in here.
targeted way to fix that.
Exactly. And the sources you sent over, they give us a perfect case study. This new artificial intelligence and business graduate certificate from the University of Cincinnati's Lindner College of Business.
Further, I can interact with this. So now
Talking
I'm
about
going to jump in
artificial
the
intelligence.
podcast and I'm going to click interactive. And now I'm going to ask some questions.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into something huge.
Oh, hey, our listener wants to join in.
Hey,
What's up?
how many credits is this certificate program?
That is a great question.
Thanks for jumping in.
It speaks right to the heart
The
of...
focus and the speed.
Exactly. We're talking about
Something
the
huge.
massive skill
Just give me the answer.
gap everyone's talking about.
Artificial intelligence.
And they answer you directly
This specific graduate certificate
from the University of Cincinnati.
is a very concise 8 credit hours total.
It's designed to be...
So this live, you could jump in and ask questions, see the program. I've used this a lot. I've used it in class. I also went and visited Hawksworth Blood at UC here and toured their facility. I don't know much about blood types other than I have the best blood, A+. And so I'm right here. I put in all the blood types in here and then I created some infographics. And so here's an infographic, again, 100% done by Gen AI that tells me, hey, A plus is actually 34% of the population and kind of shows you what can interact with others. Kind of fun. That was the first one. The second one was a little different. So we saw that one. So generated that. All this stuff within minutes. Let's go check in on a couple things because we have a couple things running. Let's go check on our LLM. It's showing us, here's our prompt engineering. Our slides are still coding over there on that one. Gamma's done over here on this one, I can tell. So this one was on agentic workflow. If you want to download this, we just go up to our share, export, download, PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint presentation done on agentic workflow. Now I can open it up in PowerPoint, make my changes, change my text, change my fonts, add this, add that. But I have a good starting point for my presentation. Let's open it up real quick in PowerPoint just to see what it looks like. I don't want to run out of time, but you saw me do this live. There's our PowerPoint presentation. How many of you make PowerPoints? And so you can choose what you want here, change your colors, style it to your business, put certain fonts in, and so on. All right, once you do that, well, then you may want to do some other stuff with it. You may want to turn it into a video. I use HeyGen for video. You'll see that I have an avatar. I recorded 2 minutes of me speaking, and with 2 minutes of me speaking, I have an avatar that I can use in any presentation. So here's one I did about the AI lab. Now, what I'm going to do is edit this for you live. I'm going to go to this, and I think I put something silly in here. But Director of AI Strategy, one of our goals, faculty and staff. If you'd like exploring, I'd love to see how you connect. I'm going to just change it real quick to welcome alumni. Oh, confirm, please. Yes. Welcome UC alumni. All right. And then maybe change it up a little bit. My name is, you got to spell this one a little. So we got that. And just to want to hear what it sounds like, we have different voices in here. We could go up and change them. But I'm going to hit this and see. It's going to process my voice with that text. I didn't spell welcome correctly, did I? Let me hit that.
Welcome, UC alumni. My name
All right, so if we don't like that voice, there's other voices in here too. So I got a bunch of different voices in here. You can see over on the left-hand side, I've loaded up different voices from different ones that I've done over the time.
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
Hey there, here's how I sound.
Hey there, here's how I sound. Hope you like it.
All right, so
The right voice brings avatar videos to life.
there you go. We just have some voices. Once you have your voice together, once you have your script together, you have your scene together, you can bring in pictures, images, slides, whatever you want. I'm going to hit generate in the top corner. I'll call this number 2 just so we can see the difference and submit it. The video is processing. That's a very short video, but in the last 5 minutes of this demo, hopefully it'll finish and we can see what it actually looks like. Let's go check on a couple other things. Remember our timer. We have 4 minutes left on our timer. Our Claude app, I did not troubleshoot this, so let's see how our capacity dashboard is doing. We're going to pick our CSV file, and we got an error. So I'm going to take that error, I'm going to copy it, paste it over here, and I'm just going to play around for a little bit over here. I see the issue. There's some JavaScript error. Let me fix it, see if it'll fix it. And this is called vibe coding. We're coding back and forth with our AI agent. It's doing all the coding for us, but it can build out some great apps. Looks like it's already fixed the error, possibly. Let's see what it does here. So it'll refresh. Let's try it again. See if we get another error. And now our dashboard seems to be working. 782 classes. Let's look at our business analytics classes, 50 of those. Look at our econ classes, maybe just Monday, maybe just a specific classroom. So that class, maybe we'll look at all BANA classes on all days. They're not in that classroom, but 4 of them are in classroom 0070. So now we can see that. We have a little dashboard going on, even down here to the list and times and enrollment and capacity. You saw what I did, right? I put a prompt in and then I put an error in and it fixed it. Next semester, I can go up here and click the new CSV file, and now I have the next thing. All right. Before I run out of time here, I want to show you some stuff with Microsoft Copilot that I use all the time. I pay for Microsoft Copilot M365. That's your Office. So I have Copilot in PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Outlook. Because it's in Outlook, I can now go into my Microsoft Copilot and say, tell me about my 2 p.m. meeting. Now, I didn't say 2 p.m. today. I just said 2 p.m. meeting, but it has access to my email. It has access to my calendar, so it can go find out what my 2 p.m. meeting is. It can say who the organizer is, where is the meeting, even click on it to take you to it, right? So here's an example of a very complicated prompt that I run periodically. This is my daily digest. You are a Copilot assistant for Jeff Shaffer. You're going to put all his calendar and Outlook and emails into a priority ranking, tier 1 through 5. Here's all the committees I sit on with all these people. Here's all the student courses that I'm doing. Here's some other rules. Here's some other tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. I have it all laid out and I run it. And so it comes back and it tells me, hey, here's your highest priority items from the associate dean in your department and so on. And so I can see, and by the way, I can click on each one. I went through this morning and I responded to each one of these tier 2 case course related things. And so, hey, I need to respond to Jonathan on the capstone. I can click on that. Or I want to respond to Gray. I can click on that. It takes me right to the email, by the way, in my inbox. And so I can respond to it right there. Very helpful and efficient. You can even schedule them if your company has it turned on. You can go up here and use the scheduling prompt and do that. And you could schedule it every morning at 8:30. Kind of cool. Let's go check back on HeyGen because we're running out of time here. Looks like it's still processing. I didn't kick it off early enough. But just to give you an idea of what that might look like, a finished video. I do this for all my classes. Well, not all my classes, but some of my classes I record videos for. I use another tool as well called Synesthesia, and this is kind of fun, and you can kind of see all the classes. This is all the modules for my undergrad class. The scripts are in there, the topics are in there. There's me with my PowerPoint slides, and I can put that right in here. We're up to a minute. I just want to show you one more thing about, vibe coding. And so I promised I would show you this PowerPoint tool. This was a vibe coded app. This requires an API key. So I'm just going to show you how you would do that. That means I'm connected to ChatGPT. So I'm going to drop in my API key down here. It's going to go to ChatGPT. It could also go to Anthropic or UC or a local host on my laptop. And I could do a batch mode where I process every PowerPoint file in my folder, but I'm just going to click this and just pick this small PowerPoint presentation right here and click process. It's going to go find all of the images in that PowerPoint. If you don't know, PowerPoint's just a zip file, by the way. You just unzip it. So you unzip a PowerPoint presentation, you get all the images out of it, you send the image to ChatGPT with a prompt that says, hey, write nice short alt text for this. You get it back, you save it up, and you roll it back up into a zip file as a PowerPoint. Long story short is I don't have to go picture by picture by picture in my PowerPoint and add alt text. I can do that with one file or a folder of files. In fact, this is actually pretty slow. ChatGPT is usually faster than this. But if I do it locally on my laptop, I can do it even quicker and be done instantaneously. And so when it's done, it processes the file, saves it back, and you're done. I am 1 minute over. We heard a ding over on my timer. I don't know if you heard it. I did. So timer complete, had a little ding functionality built into it. That's going to put me at time. And so I'm going to put pencils down. I'll see what finishes here, but I'm happy to take questions. So, Sam, do you want to moderate questions?
Yeah, happy to. Actually, there's one question in the chat that we'll just start off with from Jeff Dornoff. If you have a Microsoft account and use Microsoft Copilot 360, it's my understanding your info is encrypted, unlike if you use Claude or ChatGPT. Is that correct?
If you have Enterprise Copilot at your office, in the top right hand of the screen, you should see a little green check mark that would tell you that would be in your environment. So this is UC's environment. I'm in UC's Copilot. That's why it's able also to connect to my email and my calendar, where ChatGPT and Claude can't. So the short answer is yes, if you have some sort of Enterprise Copilot, then you would be able to do that. The M365 is an add-on to that where you pay, you see we pay like $18 a month. It might be 20. But at your company, you would pay per user. That gives you Copilot in all of your tools. So if you open up like your email or your PowerPoint or Teams, it has Copilot built into that and also would be in your secure environment. Great question.
Thanks. Hey, Jeff, this is Jeff. Thank you. One to kind of add on to that, if it's not enterprise, let's say it's personal. So you have a Microsoft account where you've signed up and,
Yeah.
$129 a year or whatever it is for the Microsoft suite. Does that same rationale or logic apply in terms of being secure?
I don't think you have the same security as enterprise security. So at least my understanding, Microsoft's Copilot is ChatGPT on the back end. So if you have a personal Copilot, in fact, if you go up to the auto and drop it down, you'll see it says GPT 5.2. That's actually ChatGPT's model 5.2. So it is using ChatGPT on the back end. In other words, your data would be going, you wouldn't want to put HIPAA data in there. You wouldn't want to put proprietary financial data in there. You'd want to do something more secure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Jeff, there's some more questions in the chat. Another one. Are any of the UC AI courses virtual for UC alumni who live out of state?
Great question as well. So our master's in AI management and our graduate certificate in AI both have in-person and online options. So both of those. You could actually start one. You could jump in on like the graduate AI certificate, and you could take some of those classes. And then if you wanted to continue on with some electives to get your master's degree, you could do that as well. Both are available. And if you don't feel like going to school for a semester and nights or whatever, async, synchronous, either one, we do have the training courses at the Center for Business Analytics. Those are half days, just 2 weeks, 4 half days, which will give you a little deeper dive into all of this stuff.
And like we mentioned earlier, we will share out some links and follow-up things by Friday, so you'll see some of those options on there as well. Another question in the chat, Jeff, what is your strategy to keep up with all the new models and Gen AI products and evaluate their performance to use the best one?
Yeah, that's almost a full-time job, right? There's so many things that are moving so fast. I like to say, don't ever say AI can't do that, because it next Tuesday it probably will. So it's moving really, really quickly. It depends on what I'm looking for. I do have some resource pages that will be included for you. Not that. But I have some resources for you on a page that you'll have a link to. And on there, there are some links to things that I use to follow up. It's a very long post here, but you'll see down here it talks about what is generative AI and introductory videos and things like that. If I'm just trying to keep up on what's going on in the week, there's this guy named Matt Berman and Matt Wolf. I follow those two guys. They do an excellent job of just telling me what happened in the week. If I really need to dive down deep into something, then I'm usually looking at AI Explained and AI Grid. I read a lot of, not read a lot, watch a lot of YouTube videos for both, whether it's technical deep dive or whether it's just a high level overview. The rest of it, social media channels and things like that to see what's going on. And I subscribe to a lot of these tools, so I try to stay on top of them through using them.
There's one more question in the chat around coding. So with AI and those that use it for coding, you ask for tweaks or additional functionality, but the user doesn't know how to make the edits because they don't know how to read code.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice on how to help these students as employees when it comes to making changes using code?
A broader picture, I think we lost code. I think there's been a lot of talk. OpenAI and Claude, both, their head developers have basically said they've moved to 100% AI code. So everything is being coded at AI over there. If you're familiar with the Institute of Advanced for Advanced Study, your preeminent, astrophysicists, they had a meeting on AI, a summit, and they basically said, yeah, coding. They even used the words that coding supremacy. AI has reached coding supremacy. So, point. I don't think we're coding anymore. I don't think we will be coding. Now the question is then, how do I trust the code that the AI wrote? How do I QA the code that AI wrote? We're going to have better AI tools for that as well. I'm a big fan of AI Copilot. So I use GitHub Copilot. I'll use VS Code and have the agent code. And in there, if you know what the code is doing and you know how to read it, it'll show you what line of code has changed. It'll ask you whether you want to replace it. It'll rewrite it for you. So you have complete control. You can say yay or nay. You can see alternatives. You can drop it in there. You have control as the user. At an enterprise level, it's going to be a while before SAP or Epic or the big software, those are not going to be AI coded, but we're going to see more coding in the mid-tier and low-tier applications. They're all going to be AI coded.
So that was all the questions in the chat. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to raise your hand and unmute. We have about a minute, so we could probably do one more question. Anyone? Last call? Awesome.
Sam did mention we will have a handout. I have a PDF that we will send along that'll have links to these tools and what I used, and maybe a few tools that I didn't have time to get to, and links to other resources that you might find helpful. So thanks for spending an hour with us.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much. A lot of great information there. Like he said, we will follow up. But thank you all for taking the time today to join and see how we're doing AI here at UC. So I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.